In 1941, a group of storks arrives at a circus in Florida to deliver newborns to various animals. Mrs. Jumbo, an elephant, doesn't receive her baby and becomes sad. The stork in charge of her baby had been delayed due to the weight of the little elephant, but the next day, the stork catches up with the circus train and finally delivers the baby to Mrs. Jumbo. When the other elephants see the baby, they initially admire him. However, when the little one sneezes, his enormous ears are revealed. The elephants start to mock him and nickname him Dumbo, which means fool. Mrs. Jumbo ignores the criticism and lovingly protects her baby. The train arrives at its destination and the circus sets up the tent. Mrs. Jumbo plays affectionately with Dumbo, but a group of children approach and cruelly tease him. The mother, trying to defend her son, reacts and scares the children. The circus owner sees this and locks her up, calling her a mad elephant. Dumbo, heartbroken, is left alone, crying for his mother. The other elephants murmur and blame Dumbo for his big ears. A mouse named Timothy hears this and doesn't understand why they mock Dumbo's ears, as he finds them beautiful. When Dumbo, sad and lonely, tries to approach the elephants, they turn their backs on him. It is evident that since birth, Dumbo has been the subject of mockery and rejection. The love and protection of his mother gave him emotional security in this hostile environment, but when they are separated, he is left defenseless and in a constant state of distress. At this point, many viewers can empathize with Dumbo, recalling moments in their lives when they felt rejected or misunderstood. Dumbo's story reminded me of my childhood. Sometimes, all you need is someone who believes in you, commented a user on a movie platform. The situation worsens because no one around him supports him. The other elephants reject him and consider him an embarrassment. His big ears can represent his great receptivity to the environment. Like any child, every negative comment he hears is amplified in his mind and heart, deeply affecting him. Hearing only criticism, Dumbo begins to believe it and forms a negative image of himself. It's like a child who constantly hears that they are an embarrassment and defective. Dumbo ends up believing it. However, the ears can also be receptive to the positive, so it is crucial for Dumbo to find a figure of support who can help contain his distress and counteract his negative self-view. Timothy feels sorry for Dumbo, scares the elephants, and then approaches the little one, telling him that his ears are incredible and special. Timothy wants to make Dumbo a circus star. At that moment, he sees the ringmaster in another tent planning the grand finale of the show and waiting for an idea to come to him while he sleeps. Then, the clever mouse whispers an idea to the ringmaster while he sleeps, to create a pyramid of elephants where Dumbo will jump from a board to the top. The ringmaster wakes up excited, believing he had a great idea. The next day, they attempt the plan, but Dumbo, due to his long ears, fails to jump and crashes into the ball holding the pyramid. This causes a disaster, the elephants fall, the tent collapses, and the circus has to relocate. The elephants, angry, decide that Dumbo is no longer one of them. As punishment, Dumbo is downgraded to a clown. His act involves falling from a high platform into a tub full of pie during a fake firefighter performance. The audience is amused, the act is a success, and the clowns celebrate. Timothy tries to cheer Dumbo up, telling him he should be proud of his success, but Dumbo remains sad and continues to cry. Then Timothy decides to take Dumbo to see his mother in her cell. Mrs. Jumbo reaches out her trunk and caresses her son while softly singing to him. Dumbo calms down upon hearing her. Meanwhile, the clowns celebrate the show's success with drinks and decide that Dumbo should jump from an even higher platform in the next show. On the way to their tent, Timothy tries to console Dumbo, who won't stop crying. They stop to drink water outside the clown's tent, not knowing it has been accidentally mixed with champagne. Both get drunk and hallucinate, seeing pink elephants singing and dancing in a rather surreal sequence. To understand this sequence, it's helpful to know that pink elephants is a common expression referring to alcohol-induced hallucinations. This term was created by writer Jack London in his 1913 autobiographical novel John Barleycorn. In the book, London describes a drunk man seeing blue mice and pink elephants. Today, in the United States, this phrase is used to talk about any alcohol-related hallucination, even if it doesn't involve elephants. The movie uses this sequence to represent the intoxication that Dumbo and Timothy experience. However, the pink elephants also seem to prepare the audience for something extraordinary that Dumbo is about to do. The figures we see change our idea of what is possible, especially with the elephants, who turn into camels, dance, and transform into cars. After seeing all this, we are ready to believe that anything is possible. The next morning, Dumbo and Timothy wake up at the top of a tree more than 30 meters high. Awakened by a group of amused crows, Timothy wonders how they got there and realizes that Dumbo flew them up while they were drunk. Timothy tells Dumbo that his ears are perfect wings and that what used to hold him back will now take him very high. He calls him the ninth wonder of the world, the only flying elephant. The crows hear this and laugh at the idea of a flying elephant. Timothy scolds them for mocking a poor orphan and asks them to be empathetic, telling them that Dumbo lost his mother as a baby and was left alone, with no one to care for him. All this because, due to his big ears, he is called a freak. When his mother tried to protect him, she was imprisoned and reduced to being a clown. To society, he no longer has any value. Upon learning of Dumbo's sad story, the crows are moved and decide to help Timothy teach him to fly. They convince Dumbo that he can fly with a magic feather and take him to a cliff. Dumbo, nervous, starts flapping his ears and suddenly finds himself flying. The trick of giving Dumbo the magic feather can be related to anchoring. Anchoring occurs when a person associates a specific emotion with something like an object, gesture, or word. For example, listening to a song, seeing an object, or smelling a perfume can evoke specific emotions because it reminds us of someone or a situation, even if unconsciously. The study of anchoring began with Ivan Pavlov, a Russian psychologist and physiologist who showed how a stimulus, a bell, can be associated with a physiological response, like salivation, in his experiments with dogs. In Dumbo's case, after so much disdain, he feels scared and doubts his abilities. Timothy gives him a magic feather, making Dumbo associate flying with having the feather. The feather then acts as an anchor, providing a sense of security, confidence, and ability, which reduces his fears and doubts, allowing him to fly. The next circus show arrives. Dumbo is about to jump from a much higher height, as the clowns had planned. However, what Dumbo and Timothy plan is for Dumbo to fly and amaze the audience. As he jumps from the platform, Dumbo loses the magic feather in the air. Timothy confesses to Dumbo that the feather was just a trick and that he can fly without it. Just when they are about to fall, Dumbo opens his ears and soars through the air, astonishing the entire audience. It's such an inspiring moment, showing that sometimes we just need to believe in ourselves, mentioned a film critic. Just as his big ears are receptive to the negative, they can also pick up the positive. At his lowest point, Timothy appeared, a key support figure who offered him companionship, comfort, and guidance. Unlike everyone else, Timothy saw the potential in Dumbo and supported him unconditionally. This support was key for Dumbo to start believing in himself. Timothy represents all those people, parents, teachers, bosses, colleagues, and friends who believed in us and motivated us until we could finally believe in ourselves. These support figures can even save lives. If this reminded you of a similar figure in your life, don't miss the opportunity to recognize and thank them. Dumbo becomes a sensation. Newspaper headlines call him the flying elephant and the star of the circus. Timothy signs a contract with Hollywood. Mrs. Jumbo is released and given a private carriage on the circus train. The elephants now sing along with the crows about the elephant they saw fly. Dumbo flies in formation with the crows and then lands to be with his mother. The crows perch on a telephone pole and wish Dumbo luck in his new success. In the end, Dumbo discovers that he doesn't need the feather to fly and that the true source of his ability was within him. The anchoring trick doesn't perform miracles. Dumbo could already fly, he was just afraid to try. Sometimes, we already have the ability to do something, but we don't dare. Anchoring can be a useful tool to develop that confidence until we feel capable of doing it ourselves. Just like Dumbo's power to fly, our power to change doesn't come from any magic feather, but we can create anchors in our daily lives, an object, a phrase, a sound that reminds us of our commitments, purposes, and abilities, and that propels us toward greater success and happiness. Another interpretation of Dumbo's feather that I personally like more is that the feather can represent anything we believe we need to make our lives work. Sometimes, we think we depend on certain people, places, or things to feel complete and successful, and that without them we would be incompetent. But maybe that's what is preventing us from reaching our full potential. What if we got rid of those limiting beliefs and discovered what we are truly capable of?